Om Ajnanatimandasya Chinanjana Shlakaya Saksuranmeritam Yena Tasmai Shigave Namah Shitchitayamanopistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Svamrupakadamayam Dadati Svapadantikam Vandeham Shiru Shiyuda Padakalam Shirum Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Jagajatam Saganaragnatam Vitam Tam Sajivan Sadvaitam Savadutam Parjana Saitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagandita Shri Vishakam Vitamsa He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandha Jatpate Gopesha Gopkakanta Radhakanta Namastate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavanashvara Vishavani Siddhadevi Pranamama Haripriya Vancha Kalptravasha Kripa Sindhavasha Padnam Pavanabhyo Vaishnabhyo Namo Namah Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Namo
Recording in
Krishna Padaya
progress.
Krishna Vastaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swamiti Namine Namaste Saraswata Devi Gauravani Pacharne Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paskachaya Desatana. Hare Krishna. Today we will start a new chapter. Worshipping Govardhana Hill. So first I will read a summary of the entire chapter. So when the coward men were busily preparing for a sacrifice to Indra, Krishna inquired from Nanda Maharaj about the meaning of the sacrifice. Nanda Maharaj, he explained that the rain given by Indra enables all living entities to maintain their lives, and therefore a sacrifice would be executed to satisfy him. But Krishna replied, "It is because of karma alone that living entities take their birth in a certain body, experience varieties of happiness and suffering in that body, and then give it up as the karma pertaining to it runs out. Therefore it is karma alone that is our enemy, our friend, our guru and our lord. And Indra can do nothing to alter the happiness and distress of anyone, for everyone is tightly bound by karmic reactions. So the creation, maintenance and destruction of the world is brought about by the material mode of goodness, passion and ignorance. The clouds they produce rain when they are impelled by the mode of passion. So what has Indra to do with it? But the cowards prosper by protecting the cows, and the cows prosper because of their residence in the forest and on the hills. Therefore, we should offer our worship to the cows, to the Brahmins, and to Govardhana Hill." After Krishna convinced Nanda Maharaj, the coward men arranged for worship of Govardhana with the paraphernalia collected for the sacrifice to Indra. Lord Krishna then assumed a huge, unprecedented transcendental form and ate all the food and offerings presented to Govardhana. He also proclaimed that to the coward community that although they had worshipped Indra for so long, he had never appeared in person, this Indra, whereas Govardhana himself had now manifested before their eyes and eaten their offerings of foodstuff. Therefore they should all offer obeisance to Govardhana. Then Lord Krishna joined the cowards in offering obeisances to his own newly assumed form. Very nice. I will read the first Sanskrit verse. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Cheva Narutanam Devem Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jyamudiyayat Nastvayasya Bhadrasu Nityam Bhagavata Sevya Bhagavati Utamastuke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistike. Shisuka Uvacha Bhagavan Apitatraiva Baladevena Samyuta Apasyan Nifasam Gopan Indra Jaga Krito Yamam. So, just a moment, going down. Can someone read the translation, please?
Sukadeva Goswami said, while staying in that very place with his brother Baladeva, Lord Krishna happened to see the cowherd man busily arranging for a sacrifice to Indra.
Thank you. According to Srila Sridhar Swami and other acharyas, Lord Krishna stayed in the village of the ritualistic Brahmins, whose wives had satisfied him with devotion. In the previous chapter, Lord Krishna destroyed the pride in ritualistic activities of the earthly gods, the Vedic Brahmins. Now he is going to check the pride of the demigods, headed by Lord Indra. The Brahmins were too afraid to see Lord Krishna, but Lord Krishna went to see him. So Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur comments that Nanda Maharaj and his brothers arriving at the cow pastures began engaging another cowherd man in the preparations for a sacrifice to Indra. Krishna arrived there and observed the man busy in the preparations. Shiva Goswami explains that the worship of Govardhana took place on the first lunar day of the waxing phase of the Kartik month. The first of the waxing. We are now for the moment in the waning phase. The waning, which is the Krishna Paksha. Today we are the Astami of the Krishna Paksha, waning moon. Then Navami, there's Ekadashi is Friday, then Saturdashi is Monday, Tuesday is Amavasya, that's the turning point, and the 22nd is the Pratipat, and that's the Govardhan Puja day, Pratipat, 22nd of October, now Wednesday, so that's the first lunar day of the waxing phase of the moon. The Pratipat of the Gaura Paksha. The Gaura Paksha is the waxing moon. This pastime was imitated later by the gopis during the Rasa Lila. So Rasa Lila was later. The order of the pastime is as follows. First there is the worship of Govardhana in autumn. Then afterward, in the winter, there is going to Varuna's place to rescue Nanda Maharaj. That's just also at the end of the autumn. But then you have the stealing of the gopis' clothing, chapter 22. That was winter. Then because it was very cold in the water. Begging food from the Brahman's wife was in the summer. And then the Rasa Lila takes place the next autumn. So we see that Sukadeva Goswami is not telling the pastimes in chronological order. And Jiva Goswami says that Sukadeva Goswami recited the pastimes out of order because of his lack of control, because of prema. He was too much in ecstasy and he could not tell it in order because of the ecstasy. And to some degree, because of similarity of pastimes. Okay. These are the comments of our acharyas on this first verse. But then we have from the Harivamsa. When the sky was clear, approaching Vraj, he saw the people of Vraj preparing for a huge sacrifice for Indra. This is a huge sacrifice, must have been big. So Krishna and Balaram approaching Vraj, which was preparing for a sacrifice, desired to hear from the cowards who were desirous of performing the festival. So the Harivamsa further describes that the event took place between the monsoon and the autumn, like the border between the ocean and the shore. So the rainy season was nearly finished and then the autumn was going to come in between. So Sanatana Goswami states that Lord Krishna saw these activities of worship of Indra every year. But now he saw it in a special way. Previously it was indifferent, but now when the time was proper, he saw it as an opportunity of stopping Indra's sacrifice and lifting Govardhana. So what Sanatana Goswami said, Krishna is now 7 years old, but he saw the sacrifice every year. When he was 4, when he was 5, when he was 6, he didn't say anything. But now he's 7 and he sees it again and says, oh, now we are going to stop it. He saw it as an opportunity for Indra's sacrifice and lifting Govardhana. So when autumn comes, the place is filled with good qualities, and abundant, tasty grass for the cows. It's pleasant with no cows or flooding. I did 3 times Vrajamandal Parikram during Kartik. And then at night, when you sleep in the open air, you can see the sky, no clouds, and you can see all these stars. Very beautiful, very beautiful. That's clear skies. Okay. That was the first verse, the introduction. Can somebody read the translation of the second verse, please?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Being the omniscient super soul, the Supreme Lord Krishna already understood the situation. Yet he still humbly inquired from the elders, headed by his father Nanda Maharaj. Thank you.
Thank you. So inquired from the elders and Nanda Maharaj. Well, Krishna, he wanted to establish exclusive devotional service during his presence in Vrindavan. Because he is the omniscient personality of Godhead, Krishna knew that the coward men were preparing for the Indra sacrifice. But as a matter of etiquette, he began to inquire with great honor and submission from elder personalities like Maharaj Nanda. So Krishna will ask questions and Nanda will give answers, and then Krishna will speak the philosophy of karma mimamsa. So we have first the commentary of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur from his Sarartha Darshini. That's the name of his commentary on the Bhagavatam. And he comments that Lord Krishna is Paramatma, and it is he who inspired others to perform the sacrifice for Indra. So in the previous years, Krishna's Paramatma inspired them to do the sacrifice. That is what Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says. But Krishna is also Sarvadarshan, because he could see in the future how he would break Indra's pride and lift Govardhana, and spending 7 days intimately with the Vrajavasis beneath a hill Govardhan. So Jiva Goswami writes that Lord Krishna had all the knowledge of the sacrifice. He asked Nanda Maharaj to explain the sacrifice. Lord Krishna asked the question because he wanted to use the opportunity and that saving all people, that showing all people that it is fine to worship the devatas who are his external manifestations when he was not present. But when he's present, then his direct worship is more pleasing. Therefore he asked mainly the elders to begin worship Govardhan. In Srimad Bhagavatam 10:14-34, that's the Brahma Lila. Brahma expresses his desire. He said, "My greatest possible good fortune would be to take any birth whatever in this forest of Gokul and have my head bathed by the dust falling from the lotus feet of any of its residents." Their entire life and soul is the Supreme Personality of Godhead Mukunda, the dust of whose lotus feet is still being searched for in Vedic mantras. Lord Brahma thus glorifies the exalted position of the residents of Vrindavan. Brahma is aspiring for a birth in which he will be smeared by the dust of the devotees' feet. Sanatana Goswami explains why Lord Krishna inquires from Nanda Maharaj. Nanda is straightforward, most affectionate to me, overcome with love and will never go against my wish. All others are dependent on him. Thus I will ask him primarily. So, can someone now read text 3, please?
Lord Krishna said, "My dear father, kindly explain to me what this great endeavor of yours is all about. What is it meant to accomplish? If this is a ritual sacrifice, then for whose satisfaction is it intended, and by what means is it going to be executed?"
Yes. So Jiva Goswami states that Lord Krishna shows inexperience in order to please his father. Just by saying, "Please tell me. Everyone else knows, but I do not know. Why have all you become so busy or agitated? Please tell me by whom and how the sacrifice will be accomplished." And Sanatana Goswami, he adds to that Lord Krishna addresses his father with affection so that Nanda will speak truthfully. Now, the next verse, text 4. Next to read.
Please tell me about it, O Father. I have a great desire to know and I am ready to hear in good faith. Certainly, two secrets are to be kept by saintly personalities who see all others as equal to themselves, who have no conception of mind or another, and who do not consider who is friend, who is an enemy, who is neutral. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So saintly persons are described here. The characteristics of saintly person. One of the characteristics of a saintly person is that a saintly person has no conception of mine or another. Factually, this is a very high platform. Also, the true impersonalists have this conception. So Nanda Maharaj might have thought that his son was, "My son is mere a child," and that he could not understand the validity of a Vedic sacrifice. But this clever statement of Lord Krishna would certainly have convinced Nanda Maharaj that Krishna made a sincere inquiry and had a serious answer to be given. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that he gives the following reasoning. If the answer is given, we are about to perform a sacrifice, we are busy preparing for this, then he should ask, what is the purpose of this sacrifice? Who is the devata to be worshipped through this sacrifice? Who will perform and with what materials? What is the purpose of the questions of a boy like you? Nanda Maharaj would wonder. And Krishna replies, I have a great desire to know. Srila Prabhupada in Krishna book writes, upon this inquiry, his father Nanda Maharaj remained silent, thinking that this young boy would not be able to understand the intricacies of performing the yajna. Now Krishna is going to refine his last statement. Can someone read this short verse in translation?
One who is neutral may be avoided like an enemy, but a friend should be considered like one's own self.
Yes.
Yes.
So Srila
Okay.
Oh, there is an Hare Krishna. This is better. So Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he gives us deeper insights. He presents the following lively conversation. So someone may say, as this is a secret affair, we should not tell a small boy with little intelligence. Thus Krishna utters statements which reveal that he is very learned. So those who are of good character see all other people on the same level as themselves. They do not see in terms of distinctions of self and others, including friends, enemies and neutrals. Such persons do not hide any action from me. But we are grihasthas and cannot follow such standards. That would be the reply. But then Krishna would answer, one should give up those who are apathetic, as if they were enemies. Ujjvala Nilamani defines the tatashta or the neutral person as the friend of the opposing group. The neutral person is not an enemy or a friend and should not be avoided or accepted, therefore is included among those to be avoided. But one should have faith in the friend as one's very self. I'm more than a friend, I'm an intimate. So Jiva Goswami describes Nanda Maharaj's inner reasoning, how Nanda Maharaj is thinking. Nanda Maharaj stood silent. He was contemplating on Garga Muni's prediction that his son would be equal to Narayan in his qualities, and how the boy had conquered and killed many powerful demons. So when people in this world perform activities, sometimes they understand what they are doing, sometimes they don't understand what they are doing. Those who know what they are doing achieve success in their work, whereas the ignorant people do not. So the Lord instructs us not to be blind followers of tradition. If a person does not know what he is doing, then how can he be successful in his work? We are all brought up in different religions, but we are questioning why we are doing our rituals. Text 7. Yeah, I wrote text 6 already, so text 7. You can read.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Such being the case, this ritualistic endeavor of yours should be clearly explained to me. Is it a ceremony based on scriptural injunction or simply a custom of ordinary society?
So the question is it a custom or a scriptural injunction? Kavikarna Puri he comments as follows. So, after speaking so maturely, Krishna sat next to Vrajaraj Nanda on a cloth asan. Nanda Baba lovingly picked up his son, who was like a spotless moon moving on the earth, and placed him on his lap. Hearing the sweet question of his son, Nanda affectionately smiled, revealing his attractive teeth, and the soft cloth on his face resembled nectar drops of milk. This nectar appeared to be washing and nourishing Nanda's beard and black hair. Beaming in a jolly mood, Vrajaraj Nanda tactfully described the nature of the sacrifice. And that we will hear in text 8. Someone read the translation, please.
The Baba replied, "The great Lord Indra is the controller of the rain. The clouds are his personal representatives, and they directly provide rainwater, which gives happiness and sustenance to all creatures."
So Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur states that in this verse explains the logic for the worship. Indra showers down rain, which gives life to entities such as grass. Without clean rainwater, the earth cannot provide food or drink for anyone, nor could there be cleanliness. Not only we, my dear son, but also many other men worship him, the Lord and Master of the rain-giving clouds. We offer him grain and other paraphernalia of worship produced to his own discharge in the form of rain. That was text 9. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explained that the sacrifice is accomplished through materials created by Indra's rain, just as worship of the Ganga is performed using Ganga water. Shiva Goswami quotes 2 verses from the Vishnu Purana. Indra showers on earth water sucked from the earth by the rays of the sun for the benefit of all beings through clouds. Can someone read text 10, purport?
By accepting the remnants of sacrifices performed to Indra, people sustain their lives and accomplish the threefold aims of religiosity: economic development and self-gratification. Thus, Lord Indra is the agent responsible for the fruitive success of industrious people. Thank you.
So all human and non-human endeavor depends on food and drink produced by rain, not on industrious activities. Unless people are well fed, it is difficult for them to execute their duties, and without performance of duty, it is difficult to be religious. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur clarified that the clouds are the root of Artha, Dharma and Kama, and therefore we should worship Indra, the Lord of the clouds. So people's lives are meant for attaining the goal of Artha, Dharma and Kama. From rains come grains, from grains comes sustenance of life, from sustenance of life comes Dharma, and from Dharma comes effort and action. So Jiva Goswami states, this verse answers the question, how do we benefit by those offerings? Why do we need Indra? Sanatana Goswami points out that liberation and bhakti are not mentioned. Liberation is not mentioned because they were devotees. No interest in liberation. And devotees give no reps to liberation, since it is an obstacle to bhakti. So, then we have 11.
This religious principle is based on sound tradition. Anyone who rejects it out of lust, enmity, fear, or greed will certainly fail to achieve good fortune.
Yes, this was 11. So, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur states that this verse explains that if you give up dharma out of personal desire, then it will not be beneficial, now or in the future. But Jiva Goswami explains that the people of Vraj have no fault of hankering for artha, dharma or kama. Everything is related to Krishna. So this verse was spoken by Nanda Maharaj. And Sanatana Goswami, he brings up some objections. He says, this is considered from things from the point of view of obtaining present results, not from scripture. Because just by herding cows, we follow dharma. So if you worship cows, you are following dharma. Text 12, please.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Shukadeva Goswami said, when Lord Ketava, Krishna, heard the statement of his father Nanda and other senior residents of Raj, he addressed his father as follows, to arouse anger in Lord Indra.
Yes,
Thank you.
To arouse anger in Lord Indra. The Srila Sridhar Swami explains that Lord Krishna's intention was not simply to insult the demigod, but rather to knock down the great mountain of false pride arisen in Indra. Of course, Lord Krishna also intended to initiate a blissful festival called Govardhana Puja. Sanatana Goswami quotes from the Vishnu Purana. He returned to Vraj during the auspicious constellation and saw the people of Vraj arranging for worship of Indra. And from the Harivamsa, Krishna and Balaram returned to Vraj and learned that the cowards were eager to worship Indra. And then Krishna spoke to make Indra angry by speaking karmavad, making the devatas useless or stopping the sacrifice. So we will hear that karmavad, but first we will hear from Srila Prabhupada in Krishna book. After hearing this, Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, in the presence of his father and all the elder coward men of Vrindavan, spoke in such a way as to make the heavenly king Indra very angry. He suggested that they forego the sacrifice. Its reason for discouraging the sacrifice performed to please Indra were twofold. First, as stated in the Bhagavad Gita, there is no need for worship of demigods for any material advancement. All results derived from worshipping the demigods are simply temporary, and only those who are less intelligent are interested in temporary results. Second, whatever temporary results are derived from worshipping the demigods is actually granted by the permission of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is clearly stated in Bhagavad Gita, Mayeva Veitan Meitan. Whatever benefit is supposed to be derived from the demigods is actually bestowed by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One cannot bestow any benefit upon others, but sometimes the demigods becomes puffed up by the influence of material nature, thinking themselves all in all. They forgot forget the supremacy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Srila Prabhupada offers 2 or more reasons why Krishna wanted to stop the demigod worship of his pure devotees. So in Srimad Bhagavatam it is clearly stated that in this instance Krishna wanted to make King Indra angry. Krishna's advent was especially meant for the annihilation of the demons and the protection of the devotees. King Indra was certainly a devotee, not a demon. But because he was puffed up, Krishna wanted to teach him a lesson. He first made Indra angry by stopping the Indra Puja, which had been arranged by the coward man in Vrindavan. Now, according to Sridhar Swami, the Lord presented 6 theoretical points in this chapter. So that's a summary. The 6th point is a summary of this karma mimamsa philosophy, which is atheistic. Why does Krishna speak an atheistic philosophy? So he said there is no God in control, because he wants to cover the fact that he is God. They don't want to bring it up. Therefore he's preaching this karmavad, this atheistic philosophy. And karmavad, the main characteristic is karma is supreme. Everyone is under karma. Even if there's some Supreme Personality of Godhead, is also under the karma. So karma alone is sufficient to determine one's destiny, first point. The 2nd point is that one's conditioned nature is the supreme controller. You must act according to your nature. 3rd, the modes of nature, they are the supreme controller. 4th, the Supreme Lord is simply a dependent aspect of karma. He must also abide by, is also under karma. The Supreme Lord, is under the control of karma, and that one's occupation is the actual worshipable deity. That is also repeated in the purport of verse 37 in this chapter later. So in short, karma is supreme and there is no God in control. That is karma mimamsa. So now we will hear text 13.
Maharaj, I have a question here.
Yes.
Why Krishna had to bring this atheistic philosophy? Why didn't he use another approach?
Yeah, because it brings this atheistic philosophy up to convince the Vrajavasis to stop the sacrifice of Indra, and at the same time not to reveal that he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So therefore he says, because he wants to teach the Vrajavasis, of course because he's embarrassed. They are worshipping a demigod and they should worship him. So he will be teaching pure devotional service as supreme. And he will teach them to worship him, but in an indirect way. Because he brings it at such that it will bring to the point that they worship Govardhana. But he will take the form of Govardhana, so it's Krishna, and then they will worship Krishna. But we will see for the Vrajavasis, whatever Krishna says, whatever philosophy, okay, it's philosophy, we don't care for it. We love him, that's the point. And whatever it pleases him, we will do. So they are they are not on the jnana level. They are not interested in that. That's a lower energy that can bring one to goodness. They are not interested. They are in Ladini Shakti, they want always on the Bhakti platform, the higher energy. And in this lower energy, they are not interested. So that's one of the reasons why Krishna is speaking this karma mimamsa. Because this karma mimamsa makes the demigods useless. Because everything is, the supreme controller is karma, so whatever benedictions they gave is because of karma, not because of them. So whether you worship these devatas or not, it doesn't make any difference. Of course, in the Vedic tradition, in Vrindavan also, they worship the devatas to give them respect. But when the Vrajavasis worshipped the devatas, then mostly there are different things. They worship the devatas because the devatas are priests or intermediates who offer it to Krishna. They are just in between Krishna. The devas must give it to Krishna, what they are offering. They are intermediates. And many times, like, they are worshipping devatas, like Durga. But the Durga, as explained in the previous chapter, that the devotees worship, that is Krishna's internal energy, is Subhadra, is a spiritual energy. It's not a material Durga. That is also interesting. That was revealed in chapter 22. Does that help?
Yeah, thank you, Maharaj.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Actually, we had one sadhu from India who was doing some Bhagavad Katha.
Yeah.
And this is the verse he was advertising, that, you don't have to do anything, just do your karma. The atheistic, philosophy he was advertising. Because this verse is spoken by Krishna, he said, Krishna has said this. That's why, I was thinking, I said, why, if this verse can be so damaging, and people are just reading this verse, this is a secret I found, by spoken by Krishna, that's all you have to do, you don't do anything else.
That's true, because I was in Malaga in Spain last days, and in the evening I was reading Krishna book and also these commentaries here that I'm reading now before you. And at the beginning of the class, the temple president came to me. There are two new people. But reading these commentaries to new people it's bewildering, because they are thinking Krishna is a cheater. He speaks false philosophy. Whatever Krishna says should be the truth.
Correct.
So and of course we must understand this is the 10th canto. It's the most to get access to this most confidential pastimes of Krishna. That one must be qualified. That like these Vrajavasis, they knew the importance of loving Krishna is much more higher than any other philosophy. All these philosophies are there to bring us gradually to the point of developing love for Krishna. That's all. That in the spiritual world they don't have these philosophies. No six darshans there. They don't know about these things. But here, yes, we are in this. We have all these cheating philosophies, because also because tomorrow I give a Bhagavatam class, and I read a verse, and it's verse 1, 17, 19. And Maharaj Pariksit is asking the bull, you lost 3 legs, who has done it? Who has done that to you? And the bull says, represents Dharma, I don't know, there are so many philosophers. One who says that the cause is karma. So that's the karma mimamsa. The cause is karma. That it's just by karma that is happening. And another say it's another reason. It's just by ignorance the jnana is. That's happening. It's by illusion. The scientists, the Vaisheshika philosophers, they are saying it's just all atoms, that and it's by law of nature. And they give all different reasons why. So and therefore the bull say I don't know. And why they give so many reasons. So all these philosophers are all causing confusion. These 6 darshans are by nature atheistic. They have no purpose in itself. The Nyaya, the logic, Vaisheshika, atomic theory, and then you have Sankhya. Everything analyzes in 21 elements. Some have 24 elements. Everything comes from these elements.
Right.
So you have so many philosophies. Anyway,
Thank you, Maharaj.
good.
Thank you very much.
Text, text 13, right? Okay, can still go on till 6:30. Can someone read text 13?
Lord Krishna said, it is by the force of karma that a living entity takes birth, and it is by karma alone that he meets his destruction. His happiness, distress, fear, and sense of security all arise as the effects of karma.
Yes. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur states that Krishna used logics to stop the sacrifice to Indra. He took shelter of Karmavad or Karma Mimamsa. Karma Mimamsa philosophy claims that there are subtle laws of nature that reward or punish us according how we act. So in the Bible they say that also. As you sow, so shall you reap. So according to your actions, you will get reaction. So in a future life, one reaps the fruits of his present work. And this is the sum and substance of reality. Lord Krishna, in the role of a young boy, was simply teasing his devotees by teaching it. He was teasing them, so we should not take it very serious. He was teasing them. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur gives us reason that Krishna wanted to stop the worship of the devatas. So Krishna adds that, and that's also important what Jiva Goswami says here, by speaking Karmavad, Lord Krishna would not reveal his nature as the Supreme Lord. He wanted to stay in the mood of a coward boy and not reveal that he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And even if we take the form of Govardhan, it is his expansion. He's still there as a young boy offering obeisance to Govardhan. So he reveals, he conceals his nature, his being as the Supreme Lord. So Srimad Bhagavatam 6.15.55 purport. There Srila Prabhupada refutes the Karma Mimamsa. Lord Krishna says that one who can understand him and how he's acting, controlling everything by subtle laws, immediately becomes free by his grace. Prabhupada said it's Krishna who controls this material nature. He says in Bhagavad Gita that Maya Drakshana Prakriti, I'm controlling material nature, Krishna says. And he's controlling using these subtle laws. And one who understands that Krishna is a controller, he becomes free by his grace. So in Srimad Bhagavatam 7.7.48 purport, Srila Prabhupada writes, we should not be misled by the Karma Mimamsa philosophy, which conclude that if we work seriously, the results will come automatically. That is not a fact, Prabhupada says. The ultimate result depends upon the will of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In devotional service, therefore, the devotee completely depends upon the Lord and honestly performs his occupational duties. Therefore, Prahlad Maharaj advised his friends to depend completely on Krishna and worship him in devotional service. Okay, now Krishna will say, even if there is a supreme controller. So he's joking, he's a supreme controller, but even if there is some supreme controller. Can someone read in translation of 14?
Even if there is some supreme controller who awards all others the results of their activities, he must also depend upon a performance engaging in activity. After all, there is no question of being the bestower of fruitive results, unless fruitive activities have actually been performed.
Yes. So Krishna argues, if there is a supreme controller, then he must also be subject to the laws of karma. Being obliged to award happiness and distress to conditioned souls according to the laws of good and evil. So the defect of this argument is that it neglects the fact that the laws of nature prescribing good and bad results and of pious and impious activities are themselves creations by the Supreme Lord. So Krishna created these laws. Being the creator of the laws, the Lord is not subject to them. Fate or karma is a system of rewards and punishments meant for encouraging the conditioned soul to progress towards pure consciousness, which is their original constitutional nature. So you have your karma. Good karma, you get suffering. This Krishna saying to us, don't do it. And good karma gives some pleasure, piety. So yes, thus the living entity discouraged from sin is encouraged towards goodness without suffering. So the atheistic arguments given by Lord Krishna is in a playful mood and are not to be taken seriously. So I repeat it. The atheistic arguments given by Lord Krishna in a playful mood are not to be taken seriously. Scientists study the laws of nature and they also say that there cannot be any lawmaker. Most of them. But yes. Text 15, the last text we will read.
Living beings in this world are forced to experience the consequences of their own particular previous work. Since Lord Indra cannot in any way change the destiny of human beings, which is born of their own nature, why should people worship him?
Yeah. So Shiva Goswami comments, what's the use of Indra? For all living beings who follow their actions, who experience happiness and sufferings according to their previous actions. What can incapable Indra do to reverse the individual nature of people who have earned that position by action? Their nature is the cause of producing their actions. So Sanatana Goswami adds that if man can overcome their natures by discriminating knowledge, still they cannot change their karma. Still we have the free will to accept the pious or impious mode of activity in our life, which will determine our future suffering or enjoyment. So, just a moment. So this verse reflects the knowledge of two verses in Bhagavad Gita, 13:21 and 13:32. 21. Karya karna kartitve hetur prakti uchate purusha sukadukhanam bhaktitve hetur uchate. Nature is said to be the cause of all material causes and effect, whereas the living entity is the cause of the various sufferings and enjoyment in this world. The Purusha Prakatistave Bhungte Prakatijan Gunan Karnam Gunasangusya Satasat Joni Janmasu. The living entity in the material nature thus follows the ways of life, enjoying the three modes of nature. Thus he meets with good and evil among various species. So we blame others, but it is our own self which is causing our happiness and distress. In Krishna books, Srila Prabhupada gives some nice examples. He says, Maharaj Nanda and other elder members argued that without satisfying the predominatory God, one cannot derive any good results simply by material activities. For example, it is sometimes found that in spite of first-class medical help and treatment by a first-class physician, a diseased person dies. Srimad Bhagavatam 7.9.19. It is concluded, therefore, that first-class medical treatment or the attempts of a first-class physician are not in themselves the cause for curing a patient. There must be the hand of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Similarly, fathers and mothers taking care of their children is not the cause of the children's comfort. Sometimes it is found that in spite of all care by the parents, the children go bad or succumb to death. Therefore, material causes are not sufficient for results. There must be the sanction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Srila Prabhupada. So, thank you. We will now have a pause of 10 minutes till 6:40, and then we will have a discussion afterwards.
Recording stopped.
On this section. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, we can continue.
Recording in progress.
So, are there any comments or questions, anything you want to share for this first 15 verses of this chapter? Yes, Mother Kanta.
Hare Krishna. We read in Jiva Goswami's commentary that this Govardhana worship was before ritualistic Brahmana's Leela. But in the first verse it is said that it was afterwards, and that Krishna gave mercy to those Brahmanas. But if you follow the chronology of Jiva Goswami, then they already had Krishna's mercy, those Brahmanas, but in the summer they didn't recognize him. So how could we understand it all?
We are going. I want to go first back to the but. System. Yeah. The order of the pastimes is as follows. This Shiva Goswami. Worship of Govardhana. That was in autumn. And during the summer, it was begging food from the Brahmins' wives. Yeah, that's true. That it were the same Brahmins who were doing it. Also, previous year and the year before and the year before. But in the you say in the story that Sukadev Goswami is telling, there he says, yeah, it are the same Brahmins as in the previous. So I see no contradiction here. What is the contradiction you are seeing?
You said that previously. You said that Krishna gave mercy to these Brahmanas by this Govardhana pastime, engaging them in worshiping himself.
Yeah.
But and it means they were purified somehow by this worship. But according to Jiva Goswami's chronology, this begging of food happened afterwards, and it seems that Brahmanas were not really purified at that time.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. So they got mercy of doing this Govardhana Lila, but still it seems they didn't learn Krishna's position. Well, they may have learned Krishna's position there. They worship Govardhan, but somewhere or another they became bewildered. That's true. They were not really convinced that. But Krishna gave them the mercy by the baking of the food from the Brahmin's wives. Then they understood that, yes, it's true. Maybe I made a little error there by saying that. That's true. Hare Krishna, thank you. Ashit Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, am I audible?
Yeah, we are hearing you on the background a bit, but we are hearing you.
Okay, thank you, Maharaj. Maharaj, in the first words,
Some internet issue. It's freezing.
So, how to understand it? Though there is some clarification given, but I don't very much follow that what exactly it means. That Tatraiva, that Yajnas were performed at Mathura or some, how it is related to Mathura when it is from Mathura. This is not
Yeah, your voice was broken up in the beginning and it freezed for some time. We couldn't hear you. The last thing I understood that something in relation to Mathura. Can you repeat it, Ashit?
Yes, Maharaj, the same thing. That since it is Tatraiva at that very place, in the last chapter, because the first verse some connection to Mathura?
And this Jagya were performed by the ritualistic Brahmins is a Jagya of going to heaven. That, but they were this. That is their profession, performing Jagyas. As a Brahmin, they were specialized in that. Because it mentioned they got initiated by the spiritual master, Brahmin initiation, but then they were also initiated in the performance of sacrifices. That's another initiation. So that was their livelihood. That is what they were doing. And Krishna, and Nanda Maharaj, therefore, because there were these Brahmins who were doing Jagyas, they engaged them.
Okay, Maharaj. Now I got it. Thanks a lot. Thank you, Maharaj.
Okay. Something else? Okay. We can read a few verses, but we cannot go too far, because otherwise we can, we are going a little too quick according to the scheme that we got. But we can read another 3-4 verses, because Krishna is continuing this for many verses, this discussion. Therefore, we will bring again on the screen here. We will go to text 16. This is 15, the next one. Can someone read the translation of 16?
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, please.
The individual is under the control of his own conditioned nature, and thus he must follow that nature. This entire universe, with all its demigods, demons, and human beings, is based on the conditioned nature of the living entity. Thank you.
Thank you. So, Lord Krishna says here that one's conditioned nature is the supreme controller. Since everything depends on svabhav, or one's conditioned nature, so why should we worship God or the demigods? That's what Krishna is saying. But one's svabhav is not all-powerful. There is a supreme controller, and one must worship him. And Krishna will reveal that in this chapter. That he will show is the supreme controller, lifting up Govardhana on his pinky. but still, the Vrajavadis will not take it serious. After Krishna lived Govardhana for 7 days, the cowherd boys went to Nanda Maharaj, the older cowherd boys, and said, who is your son? Is it the Supreme Lord? Well, Nanda Maharaj said, Kargamuni has said, yes, he will be equal to Narayan. So he will do wonderful things like Narayan, but Nanda Maharaj never thought that this Narayan is just my son, but is like Narayan, yeah. And Mother Yasoda, when Krishna lifts up Govardhana, that it's saying to Krishna that you must be tired after so many days lifting this hill, that I will give you some sweets, some cakes for eating, that you get strength. Anyway, we will hear this nectarian pastimes later, but Maria Soda tells him it chastises Krishna who is lifting the hill. The hill is on his pinky, and Maria Soda said, you fickle boy, it's by your uncontrolled senses that we are now in trouble. It is for many years this tradition for Indra has gone on, and now we have changed it. Anyway, so this Vajravadis, they don't think that it may be like Narayan, Nanda Maharaj says, but Gagamuni said to me, it's like Narayan, but it's still your son, so you have to take care of him and give him all your love. That is how we translated it. Good. So, since everything depends on one's svabhav, or one's conditioned nature, why bother worshipping God or the demigods? But yeah, the svabhav is not all powerful. There is a supreme controller. The Shiva Goswami adds that the devatas are mentioned specifically to show that in spite of having the ability to discriminate, even they are subject to their natures and cannot surpass them. And that is true. The demigods also, Krishna's the super soul is in their heart. Only if Krishna permits them to give results, can they give results. Okay, text 17.
Because it is karma that causes the conditioned living entity to accept and then give up different high and low-grade material bodies, this karma is his enemy, friend, and neutral witness, his spiritual master and controlling Lord.
So in the Brahma Samhita, we find Yastvindra Gopanata Vendram Ausva Karma Pandana Rupa Falabhajana Matanoti. The Supreme Lord Govinda awards all creatures the appropriate results of their work. This is true for the mighty Indra, the Lord of the material heavens, as it is for the germ called Indra Gopa. This verse proves that Indra himself is subordinate to the laws of karma. Lord Krishna confirms this in Bhagavad Gita in verse 720. Kamasta irtaritarhyam prabhatyantena devata. Only those who have lost their intelligence because of various material desires surrender to the demigods, rather than worship the Supreme Lord. In fact, the demigods cannot award benefits to anyone independently, as stated by Lord Krishna in the Gita. All benefits are ultimately issued by the Lord himself. Therefore, demigods' worship is useless. So that is for the reason in Bhagavad Gita. Krishna says also in Bhagavad Gita, demigod worship is useless, but there it's not using karma mimamsa philosophy. It says the demigods can give their results only when I sanction that, because Lord Krishna is clearly not under the law of karma. That is confirmed in the third line of Brahma Samhita 554. Karmani nirdahati kunticha sabhakti bhajam. The Supreme Lord burns up all accumulated karma of those engaged in his loving service. So Lord Krishna can immediately dissolve karma of one who satisfied him, who is satisfying him through devotional service. That confirmed. Can someone read text 18?
Therefore, one should seriously work excel. A person should remain in the position corresponding to his nature and should perform his own duty. Indeed, that by which we may live nicely is really our worshipable deity.
Yes. But before we come there, I found also a commentary of Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Maharaj on text 17, the previous verse. So the cows headed by Nanda Maharaj are eternal associates of the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna Chandra. The Lord is using them as the example to instruct living entities in general that worshipping different demigods like Indra with the false idea that they are the Lord is useless. There is the Bengali proverb, you instruct a daughter to teach the daughter-in-law. The Pandavas suffers to teach others. So Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Maharaj said, yes, Krishna instructs the Prajavatis in that way, that demigod worship is useless, but it's to instruct us. The Prajavatis do not need these instructions. So in verse 18, Krishna says that one must act according to his nature. So therefore, by the means of our livelihood, but by which we live nicely, that's our worshipable deity. So Krishna proposes that our work is worship. In Bhagavad Gita 3.28, Lord Krishna states, Gunasi Ganesha Vartanta. Our work is the interaction of the material body with material nature. So Karma Mimamsa philosophy says that if you have good activities in this life, we get a better life next life. So if there is a next life, there must be a conscious soul, different from the body, right? Otherwise not possible. Then why should a transcendental soul worship the interaction of the temporary body with material nature? In fact, worship is meant for Krishna himself. But according to Sanatana Goswami, Krishna proposes that being situated in one's nature and performing one's duty is real worship. That worship allows one to live properly. So then Krishna gives an example why should we worship work? And text 19. Can someone read text 19?
If one thing is actually sustaining our life, but we take shelter of something else, how can we achieve any real benefit? We would be like an unfaithful woman who can never achieve any actual benefit by consorting with her paramour.
Yeah. So, Karma Mimamsa says that the demigods are secondary assistants of karma. Karma by which we live, that's our deity. Shiva Goswami clarifies that the Karma Mimamsa presuppositions stating that karma alone can be said to be the giver of the results. Therefore, one should perform action because that which allows one to live comfortably is one's deity. So, Sanatana Goswami he adds that this Karma Mimamsa philosophy rejects the inspiration of Antaryami, of the Krishna within the heart. Since action is the teacher and the controller, by impressions in one's nature, action is produced spontaneously. So why is Krishna speaking so strongly? Because Krishna is angry. He says, you are my devotees and you worship a demigod. In the next verse, Lord Krishna will go into more specific work that he will gradually come to Govardhana. Sanatana Goswami comments that if we sustain our life by one means but try to subsist by another means of enjoyment, we cannot get happiness or auspiciousness. Therefore, we should worship the cows because they support our lives, and we should worship Govardhan because it supports the cows. Thus, by that, worshipping Indra is rejected. And now text 20 will be the last verse we read today. Yes, someone read text 20.
The Brahmana maintains his life by studying and teaching the Vedas. The members of the royal order by protecting the earth, the Vaishyas by trade, and the Sudras by serving the higher twice-born classes. Thank you.
Yes, thus work means working in the Varnashram or Vedic social system. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that for the Brahmins the Vedic scriptures are the Devata. For the Kshatriyas the earth is the Devata. For the Vaishyas, agriculture, trade and other occupations are the Devatas. And for the Sudras the higher castes are the Devatas. Now in 2 verses, Krishna first speaks of their own occupation of herding cows in order to make them worship the means of their livelihood, Shiva Goswami says. Now he speaks about the occupational duties of the Vaishya. Yeah, can be. We'll read these 2 verses also. Yeah, can someone read?
The occupational duties of the Vaishya are conceived in 4 divisions: farming, commerce, cow protection, and money lending. Out of these, we as a community are always engaged in cow protection.
So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur comments, because none and the others were Vaishyas, he describes the Vaishya in more detail in this verse. Even during times of hardship, we have not resorted to the alternative occupation. Thus, for us, the cows are the Devatas. Text 22. Yes.
The causes of creation, maintenance, and destruction are the 3 modes of nature, namely goodness, passion, and ignorance. In particular, the mode of passion creates this universe, and through sexual combination causes it to become full of variety.
Yes, that was 22. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes that someone may object that even raising cows is dependent on Indra. So in 2 verses, this is defeated by using atheistic Sankhya arguments. Now, Krishna is using Sankhya, atheistic Sankhya. By the mode of passion, the universe is created, and men and women unite to produce offspring. So Krishna is making the point that nature is the supreme controller. Why Krishna is so subtly talking about the modes of nature? Because according to the modes of nature, one has different work to do. Brahmins are in goodness, Kshatriyas in passion, Vaishyas are mixed, passion and ignorance, Sudras in ignorance. So what do the atheistic Sankhya philosophers say is the cause of the creation? They say first is Brahman or Pradhan, and after Pradhan comes the Purusha Prakriti. So then the Purush becomes attracted to the Prakriti. How that happens they don't explain, but then comes the Mahatattva. They think that superior to the Purush and Prakriti is Pradhan. Pradhan or Brahman is supreme. But our philosophy, Sankhya philosophy of Lord Kapiladev, the son of Devota, is different. Our cause is Parabrahman, Krishna. Like in his form of Mahavishnu, Purusha avatar, he glances at Prakriti, and then he adds the living entities by his glance. He adds time, and then the Purusha and the Prakriti, because of the desires of the living entity, the equanimity of the three modes, goodness, passion, and ignorance, is broken, and it starts to move, and it turns into Mahatattva, and from that Mahatattva comes the Ahankar and the three modes. In the three modes, this Ahankar, but here it's said that the causes are the three modes. But there's a lot of going on before that. But then Krishna qualifies this further in text 23. Can someone read?
Impelled by the material mode of passion, the clouds pour down their rain everywhere, and by this rain all creatures gain their sustenance. What has the great Indra to do with this arrangement? Hare Krishna.
Yeah, what does Indra to do with this arrangement? Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he clarifies further. As the clouds by the influence of passion disperse water everywhere, on the ocean, on the rocks and the desert, the dispersal is not dependent on anything else. Shiva Goswami adds that Krishna calls Indra by the name Mahendra, Maha Indra, the great Indra. He uses the name Mahendra as a joke, since the clouds and Indra are independent, are both dependent on Rajas. So how can he be the big controller of the clouds? Sanatana Goswami summarizes, what can Indra do? The clouds are dependent on Rajas, not on Indra. In verse 9, Nanda said, Indra is the Lord and master of the rain-giving clouds. So this is rejected in this verse. So, from Krishna book, in Krishna book, Srila Prabhupada writes that the cloud is caused by the action of the modes of passion. Therefore, it is the mode of passion which causes the rainfall. And after all the rainfall, the living entities derive the result, success in agricultural work. When then, what has Indra to do with this affair? Even if you do not please Indra, if you do not please Indra, what can he do? We do not derive any special benefit from Indra, even if he pours water, because he pours water on the ocean also, where there is no need of water. So he's pouring water on the ocean and on the land. It does not depend on our worshipping him. So we will stop here. Any further comments, questions? Good. Something that struck you in this chapter until now, what are the lessons we are learning?
Hare Krishna Maharaj, something that was just striking me was, how much faith and, there was a devotional faith Nanda Maharaj and the other cowherd men had in this 6-year-old boy that they would, I mean, if, as parents, as fathers, if our small child made these kinds of arguments to us, we would neglect them or, just say, what does he know kind of thing, what does the little child know? But these Rajvasis, these, cowherd men and the other Rajvasis just had so much inherent faith in Krishna that, yes, he's a small child, they would accept everything he says and, abide by it. So that, to me, is just, I don't know, something that's, I guess, reflective of their real understanding of who Krishna is, even though they may not reveal it.
Yeah. But we will see further in this chapter. We will also quote from Nectar of Devotion. Krishna is a fluent speaker in all languages. And he speaks so sweet that everyone accepts what he says. It's interesting. Anything else?
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Mother Kant.
It's wonderful that Krishna is preaching atheistic philosophies. And we know the reasons behind this, but still it's really striking that the Lord, he's preaching that there is no Lord or something else is God. So he's excellently well versed in everything. He knows atheism also, because he is the source of all philosophies eventually. And by this preaching, we know that, as in Bhagavad Gita, he says that I support every faith in demigods, and we may conclude that these atheistic philosophies, they also supported probably by Paramatma for people who want to follow them. But Krishna is excellent in all philosophies, as the source of all the philosophies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what is striking me, what I try to learn from this chapter is that devotion to Krishna and pleasing Krishna, that's all what counts. The rest comes secondary. And for the Vrajavasis, that's the only thing they are interested in. Loving Krishna, serving Krishna, pleasing him. And all the other things, Krishna may say what he wants. It's all right. Okay. Good. If there are no further comments. Yeah, okay. Sundari Gopi, please.
So for me, I see myself much lower than Indra, but I know that he is going to take care of, his heart is very caring. He will correct me, sometimes very harshly maybe, but all his heart is filled is with real care and concern. And I'm not ready for all the corrections yet, but I want to be ready that he correct me, and I need that, I know, but I feel that I feel his care. When I read that he really, in the answers that we were answering for the questions, he further on, his only goal is he cares, he loves. So I feel that, but I'm not totally ready, but I want to be ready someday, hopefully, by prayers of devotees. But it's very sweet to feel that he genuinely is the only person who he cares.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's our all well-wisher and all what he does is for good. And sometimes a bitter pill to swallow, but we try also to learn that lesson. Yeah. Thank you. Good. Then we will stop here and we continue tomorrow because
Recording stopped.
I have to run for the train now. I'm going to Radha, 300 kilometers further, and tomorrow we will see on another place. I'm a sannyasi, I have to travel, so what can I do? Always from one place to another. See you tomorrow, if Krishna willing. Jai Prabhupada.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Jai
Thank
Prabhupada.
you.